say you are listening to, you are absolutely listening to the George Espinlov Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm. Now, with no further ado, here comes Georgie!
Wow, it's Friday night, and to all of our friends down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, I welcome you to the George Espinlov Show, coming to you live from the Funny Farm in a place called Our World. I'll give you our email address later on in the program and some other pertinent information, but we want to get right to our guest tonight. But before we do, I want to inform our listeners, our guest last night was Brett Broughton, who wrote the book Homeland Insecurity. And he was due to be on the show last night, and he was not able to make it. He contacted me today. He was stranded in an airport in Minneapolis, and he could not make it last night. And he asked if we would bring him on again. So I gave him a date, and as soon as he confirms that date, I will announce to you that Brett Broughton will be back with us. And it is so vital, so much important information. And our guest tonight has a wealth of information for us that we might stand up, straighten our backs, raise our head, and march and do what needs to be done to turn this country around. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce to you our guest, Brian Vanyo. Brian, welcome to the George Espinlov Show.
Hey, Joe. It's good to be on. Thanks for having me.
I know that your time is limited, so we'll jump right into this thing. Could you give us a little bit, tell us a little bit about your background?
Sure. I am a former Navy. I went to the Naval Academy. After graduation, I went to flight school in Pensacola and was qualified in the F-14 Tomcat. I served in an operational squadron for 3 years, deploying in 2002 and 2004 in support of Operation Enduring Freedom in Afghanistan and then Iraqi Freedom in Iraq. Went on to serve at the Office of Naval Intelligence for 3 years. I got out of the Navy, went to law school, got a law degree, and then finished a master's degree through the Naval War College. And I've also worked at the Defense Intelligence Agency. And I wrote a book recently called The American Ideology, Taking Back Our Country with the Philosophy of Our Founding Fathers, mainly to look at the philosophy of our Founding Fathers and how our country really has departed from the course that they set for us. And I'm also a board member of the Constitution Leadership Initiative, which is an organization that aims to empower people at the local level to teach others about the Constitution and the importance of upholding the limitations on the federal government.
You know, Brian, I always tell people, everyone should have one of those little pocket Constitution books, and you can get them most anywhere, and just stick that thing in your pocket or in your glove box or someplace where you can pick it up. I wonder what the percentage of people are in America that has actually read the Bill of Rights and those beautiful documents that was made way back then.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think there is a general lack of understanding about what the Constitution is, what it says, why it was formed, and so it is imperative for the American people to understand this. I mean, we are, in fact, the true source of all power in the United States, and through the Constitution, we gave some of that power to the federal government to basically preserve our natural rights to life, liberty, and property. And so I think when we lose sight of what the Constitution is, when we lose sight of our control on government, then government can grow into whatever it so desires. And we've seen that in modern history, how the federal government has grown beyond all limitations that were imposed in the Constitution, and it really has become this great authoritative, centralized power in the United States that our founding fathers warned us against. And so it behooves us to go back and understand, first look at the Constitution, understand what it says, but then really start to enforce its limitations on our elected representatives, because we just aren't doing that today.
I believe with all my heart, and I watched a segment of you when you were on Fox and Friends, and the first thing that I noticed, I was impressed by the fact that you were focused, zeroed in. What am I trying to say here? I could hear your heartbeat, and this was coming from way down deep inside of what you were saying and about what you have written in your book. Our forefathers, our founding fathers, never intended for government to be anywhere near as large as it is today, right?
Yeah, they never did. And like, as you mentioned, I was on Fox and Friends a number of months ago talking about my book, and they believed in, this natural law philosophy, which says that our rights to life, liberty, and property are gifts from God, not government. And government is there merely to preserve our natural rights, because they understood that this philosophy, this natural law philosophy, where people are free, in liberty, free people come together in society, not to empower, not to empower government to control us, but really to empower government in a limited way to help us preserve our natural rights. Because in the state of nature where there is no government, there can be a lot of lawlessness and controversy about, what is right and wrong. If I wrong you in the state of nature where there is no government, there is no authoritative, adjudicative power to resolve disputes. And so that's really there are some fundamental purposes of government. It's important, but it was never designed to really control every aspect of our lives that the federal government has really come to do today.
It's almost as if that's why we revolted against England. It's almost as if we're back to square one again, where those in Washington, they feel like they're the super elite. They're the ones with all the brains, and us peasants out here don't know what's good for us, don't know what we need, when we need it, where we need it, or any of those other things. They know best. Instead of father knows best, it's big brother knows best. And I'm wondering, as I watch these, I have to be careful how I describe them, because I can't describe them the way I describe them off the air. But nonetheless, I just wonder how many of our representatives, Republicans, the independent, and I know where the left-wingers stand, I wonder how many of them really know that serving in the House and in the Senate really knows what the Constitution is all about. Am I on the mark?
Yeah, I think you're right, because and the hard thing about really those of us who do have an understanding of the Constitution, those of us who understand the limitations of government, the difficult thing is that the federal government has been operating for so long with these illegitimate powers. And when government can, I guess, look to use history and use precedent as a means to establish, its legitimacy, it's pretty effective, because look at, generation after generation for a number of generations going back 100 years have grown up in the United States when the government has exercised these vast regulatory powers over the people. And in my opinion, it goes back to the 1930s under the New Deal era, when a lot of people put their faith in government to help provide for the people, when we really gave into this progressive idea that government can be this benevolent provider for everybody, and if we just sacrifice a little bit more of our liberty to government, that it'll somehow better take care of us. And we see that's just not true. But since then, the federal government has had that authority, and it's exercised it over a number of years. And so people born into the United States today, or people who immigrate here, they see the federal government exercise these powers, and so they just accept it as natural. And so it's important for us, as you mentioned at the beginning, for us to go back and read the Constitution and understand it, because when we understand our history and when we understand what our founders truly designed, I think then we begin to realize that the federal government today is overstepping its bounds in so many ways. And so when we understand the philosophy that guides the Constitution, and understand its limitations, I think then we can really be empowered to, just be more vocal for against our representatives, and to hold their feet to the fire, so to speak, just to help hold the limitations on the Constitution, because it's really important.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can go to Brian Vanyo, that's Vanyo, brianvanyo.com. Vanyo. Is it Vanyo, Brian?
Yeah, that's correct. Brian Vanyo.
brianvanyo.com, and there is some good material there. They can order your book right there too, right, Brian?
Yeah, it's, you can find out information about the book at brianvanyo.com, but it's available anywhere online, Amazon, Barnes & Noble, Books A Million, etc. So, but definitely go to my website for more information. I've got information about the book. I've received a lot of great endorsements from, Rick Santorum, Dr. Laura Schlesinger, a couple U.S. senators, Mike Lee, Senator Hoeven, and also I recently received an endorsement from a former governor of North Dakota and the former agriculture secretary, Ed Schaefer. And so the book has been well received by a lot of people who are true to the Constitution and what it stands for. And I think it's written in a way it's very historical and objective. So you're not going to read a book about what I think is right. You're going to read about what the Constitution means through the eyes, through the words of our founding fathers. I've got over 1,100 factual citations in the book, so it's a very dense, authoritative book about what our founding fathers believed, and then of course it tracks through history of how we've kind of departed from their course that they set for us to become this kind of really regulatory state that we have today.
Brian, I was thinking, and I was listening while you were talking, and you mentioned the word understand. We need to understand the Constitution. We need to understand what they intended for us, how it was supposed to really be. And I got to thinking about that word. Somewhere along the line, I don't know exactly when, but things started to creep in under the door. There was a crack in the wall somewhere, and now when I look around, and I've mentioned this, I don't know how many times on this show when we were speaking to different people. Now, our young people, and even many in your generation, has absolutely no clue about the history of our country. Do you think that's right?
Yeah, that's a very good point, because, of course, there's a saying that history is bound to repeat itself, and so it's important for us to understand our own history, because I think we're going the course of so many other nations that have failed. Our founding fathers, when they designed the Constitution, they did so with a vast amount of research and understanding about the failures of past democracies, and they understood themselves that the United States, under the Constitution, was not guaranteed. Liberty was not guaranteed forever. There's an anecdote that I wrote about in the book. Ben Franklin, at the close of the Constitutional Convention, he was approached by a woman on the street who asked him, "So, what kind of government did you institute?" And his response was, "A republic, comma, if you can keep it," because he understood, and so many of our founding fathers understood, that the laws that they instituted, the Constitution that they had, and even under the best laws that they could pass, liberty was not guaranteed. It really takes a people to ensure and enforce the limitations of the Constitution, but also it takes a virtuous people really to, I guess, just to enforce, or to maintain the culture in society, the culture of liberty, and this respect for natural law, this respect for the idea that our rights come from God, and that we are joined in society to help preserve those rights. So it's that kind of understanding that you said. I mean, it is lacking, and it's the main motivation for that. The main reason why I wrote the book is because I saw that. I began writing the book in 2009, kind of at the height of the Obamacare debates, and I just saw among members of Congress and the American people kind of a general lack of understanding and appreciation for the limitations in the Constitution. And so what I wanted to do, as I've said before, is go back and really put the Constitution in context so that we can understand what exactly it means.
The other thing that I've noticed is that the politicians, when I was a young fella growing up, if you were in the military, if you were an admiral or you were a general, I mean, you were looked up to. When Eisenhower was president, so on and so forth, and it seemed like when things had to be done, not always, but when the crises came and things had to be done, all of a sudden people didn't stand underneath a shingle that said Democrat or Republican. It said Americans. And things were done, not always right, not all the time, but there were things that was done that was for the best of the people, because the people were still leading the charge. Nowadays, it's almost like the politicians are only concerned about the next election or raising enough money that they can stay in the fight. And when we have an atmosphere or attitudes like that, the bad things slip right past them, and the good things are never brought up. And then we find ourselves in a world of stuff like we are today.
I totally agree, and I think the part of the reason why you see so much partisanship today is the fact that the federal government has become so powerful, and it's, particularly for the Democratic Party, there is this desire for that kind of regulation and that kind of control, but even among Republicans, I think there's kind of the thing that frustrates me about the Republican Party is that it seems that the Republican Party throughout history has been a natural home for, the adherence to constitutional principles. If you look at, the old Republican Party that was started under Thomas Jefferson and James Madison to oppose the Federalists, and if you look at the new Republican Party under, Abraham Lincoln's leadership, these people were committed to the fundamental principles in the Declaration of Independence and upholding the limitations of the Constitution. And so it seems to me that the Republican Party would be the natural home for this kind of, the sensibilities that are expressed among, really among the Tea Party today. But, I mean, unfortunately, because there's so much power in Washington, D.C., you see a lot of Republicans give into this idea that if you just elect them to power, that they'll somehow better manage this autocratic government. But what we really need to do is dismantle a lot of the power that's in the federal government and return it back to the people in their states where they can better manage better manage the government, because when you have all of this power centralized in this distant government in Washington, D.C., it's harder for the people to really monitor what's going on. And so then that's when you have this corruption and where select industries and people can benefit from it because nobody else is really paying attention to it. And so, part of the design of the Constitution was to have this type of federalism where the federal government is limited to certain roles and responsibilities enumerated in the Constitution, and where the states basically exhibit the rest of the power that affects the people on an individual basis. But now everybody turns to the federal government for the answer to everything, and both parties seem to want to satisfy that kind of desire. And I just think it's really incumbent upon us as people, as the true power brokers, the political power brokers in the country, to understand our Constitution and understand the dangers of going toward this centralized government that we've gone to. And if we do not get back that power to our states and local governments, we're just going to continue going down this path where people in both political parties are just going to keep fighting against each other for the reins of power. And that of course was never the design. Our founders understood that partisanship in that regard could be very dangerous to our society. And so, again, it just goes back to understanding our history and understanding the limits of the Constitution.
I think there's there's three different there's three different types of people that we have in Washington. We have those people that wants the Constitution just to go away. I mean, just we don't need it no more. Make it go away. Then we have the people that says, well, we want the Constitution to be what the Constitution is, but yet I don't want to fight against the people that wants to make it go away because then nobody will like us and nobody will like me and I won't get it, blah, 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 blah. And then you got the third group of people that they just don't know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's sad that there is that kind of apathy in our country, and it really kind of goes back to our education system, because I don't think that our children are getting the kind of education that they need. I mean, one of the things that I write about in the book is, of course, our founding fathers believed that education was imperative to maintaining liberty, because obviously, self-government requires education among the people, and if we're going to preserve our liberty, we have to understand what the fundamental principles are that enable it. And so that's a big part of our diminishing liberty today, is just our failing education system. But it's also, and I guess connected to that is that the fact that we can't really teach our founding philosophy, this natural law philosophy, which again says that our natural rights to life, liberty, and property are gifts from God, not government, because once you mention God in public schools today, of course, you're going to have the ACLU come and initiate lawsuits. But yeah, the apathy, the apathetic nature of society is something that is frustrating, and we just need to, I guess, take it upon ourselves to try and educate others through, as you're doing through radio, I'm trying to do through my book and through columns that I write twice a month on my website. It's just important to get the word out, and it's important for those people who have that understanding of the Constitution to have the boldness to speak out about it, because it is so important for us, to maintain our liberty going forward. Because if we continue to go down this path where we just give in to this centralized power that by the way is just amassing more and more debt by the day.
Mm-hmm.
It's really putting our children into a terrible situation when they grow up, because they're essentially going to be slaves to the federal government by virtue of the debts that they're going to have to repay on our account. I think we're really failing our future, and of course our Constitution was designed to preserve our liberty, to secure the blessings of liberty for ourselves and our posterity, and we are failing our posterity.
I know your time is limited, Brian, but I think our education system has become re-education camps, almost like the Soviets did and other countries did. They're going to re-educate. They're re-educating the little brains, the little people. And then I think there's one main ingredient, and you touched on it right there, that people either don't remember, have no idea about, and this is only my opinion, I am a firm believer in the fact that our forefathers, our founding fathers, and they all had their differences. They were frail human beings, just like us. But I believe that this country was put together through those men by divine intervention. I don't know why. I can't put it in words, but I believe the whole solid foundation and the brilliance of these men was because there was a divine intervention that took place.
No, I think you're absolutely right, and the founding fathers themselves believed that, and they spoke of that in many of their writings. That they had such a unique opportunity to establish liberty based in reason, according to natural law, that it must have been divine intervention, and so that's why it's so important for us to preserve, not just for the religious aspect of it, but because really when you look at natural law philosophy, which it's really based on reason, of course. The founding fathers, when I talk about their belief in the importance of religion in society, not any particular religion, but religion as a cultivator of morality among the people. So it didn't matter to them what kind of religion you practice, as long as it instilled you in virtue, to treat one another, the golden rule, basically, to treat one another as you would like to be treated. But education, it really is important, as you said. George Washington is somebody who also, you talked about the kind of the Marxist element of it, and the centralized education is actually a Marxist principle, by the way. But George Washington has and I have a quote in my book where he talks about, how important it is for young Americans to really be imbued with this sense of appreciation for their constitutional government, before their minds can be potentially corrupted by other styles of government, other inferior forms of government. And so I'll just quote him here. He says, "We ought to deprecate the hazard attending ardent and susceptible minds from being too strongly and too early prepossessed in favor of other political systems before they are capable of appreciating their own." And so it's just so important for us to really educate our kids about the unique opportunity that we as Americans have in our country, because as I said, we are the power brokers. This is self-government. This is our government. And so it's incumbent upon us to inform our kids, to inform others who don't understand the basis upon which our country and our government was formed. It's important for us to educate them about these principles, and it's important to educate them about the importance of upholding the Constitution, because if we don't, we're just going to go down the same course that so many failed democracies have throughout history, and I just fear what impact that will have when failure comes to the United States. And I talk about in the book a lot about the dangers of this kind of democratic despotism that Alexis de Tocqueville actually talked about. He's somebody who came to the United States from France to study. He actually came to study the prison system here in the United States, but he also made a lot of great observations about American society, and he wrote in his book, Democracy in America, about the greatness of the United States and how it was great that we had these limitations on the centralization of power in the United States, because that he saw as being one of the major obstacles to tyranny in democracies. He had a lot of ominous warnings about democracies in general, how they tend to drive towards tyranny. But what he saw in the United States was the limitations in the Constitution, and he applauded the American people for that because he understood that those limitations would prevent that general trend toward tyranny. But unfortunately, we've lost that understanding. We've removed those obstacles, and here we are going down that same path that so many other democracies have done. And we just need to wake up. We need to wake up and understand that our direction is wrong. We need to turn back to our past to really find our answers about the direction in which we need to go in the future if we hope to sustain liberty for ourselves and for our posterity.
Mm-hmm. Brian, I know that you have to run, but listen, there is a ton of information that we want to extract from you. So if you get a free date or some time that you don't have anything else to do, would you call me or email me? Because I'd sure like to have you back where we could really get into this thing.
Oh, George, I'd be happy to come back, and I certainly will. So thank you for having me on, and I look forward to having more discussions with you in the future.
All righty, and thank you for your service, my brother.
Okay, you too. Thank you, George.
All righty, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
There we are, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, man, there is so much. Go to Brian Vanyo, V-A-N-Y-O, Vanyo.com, and there you can read all about it, and there you can look at the book that is available, American Ideology. I'm leaning over here trying to get a hold of something here. Get a hold of that book, Amazon.com, American Ideology by Brian Vanyo, V-A-N-Y-O. Go to brianvanyo.com. And I thank Brian for taking the time out. I know his time was limited tonight. So we will have him come back when we can spend a whole lot more time with him, because there's just so much information. There is a wealth of information that is available from this man, and we need to hear it. You know, what is it? There was a commercial on television. I don't even know if it's still on anymore or not. What was it? Smith and Barney and Smith, whatever it was, an investment company. We make our money the old-fashioned way, one client at a time. Well, you know, that's the only way we're going to get this job done anymore, is you and I and him and her and they and them and these and those, each and every one of us standing tall, not in arrogance, not puffed up, but in humble appreciation, and tell friends and family and anyone that will listen to us. And just don't be mouthing words. Know what you're talking about when you start talking about it. But we're going to win this country back only by one person at a time. You've got to. Don't be one of the sheep. Don't be one of the herd. Don't be a follower. Listen, I mentioned in the beginning of the show tonight, and I'm going to move on here in a minute as soon as I'm done lip dripping. I mentioned in the beginning of the show, you know, you can get a little pocket edition of the Constitution. It fits right in your pocket. You put it in your back pocket, you put it in your purse, you put it in your shirt pocket, up above your visor, wherever you want to. But get into that thing. Take the time. And it's very inexpensive. Just get you a copy of the Constitution and begin to read it. It's not hard. It's not hard to read, and it's not hard to understand. It is the solid rock upon which this country was founded. And so it's going to take each and every one of us to shout it from the walls, like a watchman on the wall. And we're going to have to reach one person at a time, teach one person at a time that this is what this country was meant to be. And show them. That's the only way. But we need people that will do it. We need people that will stand up. We need people that will put out the printed page. We need people who will shout out on the airways, on radio, on television. We need people that will shout it out in crowds and arenas and coliseums and convention halls and on and on and on. And listen, we need to reach every one of the representatives in Congress. Find out who your representatives are for your state. Every state has 2 senators. Find out who they are. Find out who your congressmen or your congresswomen are. And contact them. And say, look, this stuff is ugly, and you need to get yourself squared away, and you need to start representing us. Or we're going to find somebody else that can do it for you. I'm just saying. You know what I mean?
You know you're always welcome and you'll never be a stranger. 'Cause we're all pretty and pink, but dangerous and camo. Daddy sharpshooters and mama's little angels. Forward riding southern belle. Bless your heart, Alabama kind of girl. Pretty and pink, but dangerous and camo. Daddy sharpshooter and mama's little angel. Forward riding
Alabama Kind of Girl by Summerlin Powers. Hey, listen, on Monday night, and I'll come back and tell you what's going on later on tonight, tomorrow, Sunday, so on and so forth. But on Monday night, you do not want to miss this lady. If I can pronounce her name right. I can. I want to make it plain because you might get it mixed up with something else. We're going to have Karen Kondashian. That's Kondazian. And she has written the critically acclaimed novel entitled The Whip. And ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen, I mean to tell you, this book is off the hook. I'm just saying. I'm telling you, this book is off the hook. Karen Kondashian is an actress. And she wrote a book. This is a true story of a 19th century legend by the name of Charlotte Charlie Parkhurst. A woman who lived most of her extraordinary life as a man. I'm telling you. I put my nose in the book, and I could not get it out. And I have a rather big nose anyhow, but nonetheless, I could not get my face out of this book. The Whip. It is off the hook. I just can't say that enough. I can't emphasize. You've got to read this book entitled The Whip, written by Karen Kondashian. Don't get mixed up now. Who is an actress herself. But she wrote about a true story of a woman. Her name was Charlotte Charlie Parkhurst. A woman who lived most of her extraordinary life as a man. She was also the first woman to vote in the United States, doing so as a man. It's going to become an audio book. In fact, I think it already has. Yes, in November 2012, it became an audio book. For most writers, there is a voice inside them that tells the story and speaks for their characters, said Kondashian. To have an extraordinary actress like Robin Weingart channel that voice, she's talking about the audio now, to let it filter through her talent, to finally reveal the humanity, pain, humor, and sass of Charlie is a true gift to the real Charlie, to the writer, and ultimately for the listeners of the book. You don't want to miss it. Monday night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the Spreaker Network. I will share this with you. The Whip is inspired by the true story of a woman, Charlotte Charlie Parkhurst, 1812 to 1879, who lived most of her extraordinary life as a man in the Old West. As a young woman in Rhode Island, she fell in love with a runaway slave and had his child. The destruction of her family drove her west to California, dressed as a man to track the killer. Charlie became a renowned stagecoach driver for Wells Fargo. She killed a famous outlaw, had a secret love affair, and lived with a housekeeper who, unaware of her true sex, fell in love with her. Charlie was the first woman to vote in America in 1868 as a man. Her grave lies in Watsonville, California. Tremendous. The Whip, written by Karen Kondashian. Remember that. Karen Kondashian, Kondazian, who is an actress herself, and we'll tell you more about that on Monday. But she will be with us May 6th. Karen Kondashian, who has written the true story, The Whip, about Charlotte Charlie Parkhurst. And I mean to tell you, you can go to Amazon.com, get this puppy. I mean, get this puppy. And I'll guarantee you, you will be so glad. It's one of those books that you read it once, you lay it down, and then you're going to come back and you're going to read it again. I'm serious. You're going to read it again. That's how good this book is. So Karen Kondazian will be with us Monday night, May 6th. That book just, I'm telling you, it just does something to me. On Tuesday night, from Down Under, now as far as I know, if I'm wrong, correct me, when we have this young lady on by the name of Myra, and she'll be coming to us from Down Under in Australia. When she comes to us, our time, Tuesday evening, it will be Wednesday morning where she's at. And she'll be here. She's a singer, a songwriter. She's up and coming. And they have asked us if we would bring her on the show. And naturally, the door is open. That's the kind of people we want. That's the kind of people that we like. Here is one of Myra's songs, I Am the Sun. I Am the Sun by Merva, who is Down Under. in Australia. She'll be with us on Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. It'll be Wednesday morning down under in Australia, as far as I know. Hey, give me a call. I am lonely tonight. I'm lonesome tonight. Anyhow, it's Friday night. You know, it comes down upon us. But anyhow, I want to say thank you to Brian Vanyo, who was our guest tonight. He had limited time to spend with us. I'm so glad that he did spend those 30 minutes with us, and he's going to come back because there is a ton of information that we want to extract from that man. Get his book. Go to Brian Vanyo, VANYO.com. Get his book, American Ideology, and it talks all about what the Founding Fathers intended for this republic in which we live. And you can see how far off course we have drifted over the years. And we need to steer this ship back on course, lest bad things happen to our vessel. It's our vessel, ladies and gentlemen. It's we the people. So let's mount up. Let's do something about it. Let's shout it from the rooftops that we the people want to get back to where we started from. Isn't there a song like that? I don't know. If there isn't, which I'm sure there is, but if there isn't, there needs to be one. Hey, how many of you folks, most of us anymore have a Facebook page? I have one. We have one for the show page. I'm in several groups, the Spreaker group, and the media worldwide group, and so on and so forth. But most of us have a Facebook page. How many times do you get requests to play a game with someone? Now, I don't know. I can't tell you whether these people actually send it out or if it's automated and Facebook just throws their name out there and said, you know, Pete requested that you play whatever it is, and Betty requested that you play. But anyhow, how many of you don't play those games? I'm sorry. I get requests and I just make them go away. And I'm not being rude to my friends, honestly. It's just I don't have time. I don't have time to do that. And so, you know, when Charlie and I was down at musicalley.com earlier this afternoon, we came across this song. I mean, if I can find it, yeah. We came across this song. The No Facebook app. The No Facebook app song by Power Salad. I want you to listen to it.
A Facebook friend I know was playing Song Papa. He asked me if I'd join him in a game. He'd send me requests and I would beg him to stop, 'cause all these online challenges are lame. And I said, no, I don't play them no more. Those Facebook games are really a bore. Don't ask again to play me words with friends or help you with your stupid farmland chore. A lady friend I know just sent a birthday request. I clicked on it, which really was a shame. The next thing I knew, well, it had rifled right through my address book, which had 10,000 names. And I said, no, I don't no more, or take part in your mafia war. I'm perfectly fine not digging diamond mines or helping with your stupid farmland chore. learned the way to block these Facebook requests. It's all thanks to my lovely fiancée. On Twitter we met, and I will certainly bet she's real no matter what the people say. And I said, no, 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 I don't play them no more. I'm much more busy now than before, wiring these funds to my beloved one, and a secret bank account offshore.
Dearest, very good.
And I said, no, 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 I don't play them no more. Those Facebook games are really a bore. Don't ask again to play me words with friends, or help you with your stupid farmland chore.
We'll take you from where you are to where you wanna be. 'Cause radio works. The radio works. We'll take you from where you are to where you wanna be. 'Cause radio works. Radio works.
Yeah, dude, radio works. Guaranteed radio works. And I am a real radio. What's the word I'm looking for? I am a real radio. I'm a real radio. I'm a real radio. But anyhow, radio works. Yeah, radio works. I am a real radio. Look, I'm doing it for my benefit now because I had it in the beginning before I said it, but I insist that I finish this. I'm not going to let this glitch in my mind stop me. I knew what I was going to say. I'm a real radio fanatic. Well, that wasn't exactly what it was, but that's close enough. I'm a real radio fanatic. Seriously. You know, the terrestrial radio. I play the radio in the vehicle. I play the radio in the house. I play the radio on the computer. I play it on the iPhone. I play it on the iPad. I play radio wherever there's radio. I play radio. In fact, I spend more time on radio doing broadcast and listening to radio than I do on television. I don't spend very much time in front of the TV. Number one, it makes me mad when I watch too much of the news, and it don't take too long to make me mad. And then there's not a whole lot that I'm interested in outside of the history things and the documentaries and so on and so forth. But when it comes to radio, it's always been that way as long as I can remember. And give me a chance to get behind a microphone and lip drip on the radio. Wow, I found my niche. Nobody else wants to talk to me. I'll talk into a mic. And then whoever wants to listen to me can listen to me. Wow. Anyhow, I'm just saying, it's Friday night at the Funny Farm, and you are listening to the George Espinlove Show right here on Spreaker.com.
There's a new sun rising in the middle of the night. You can feel the heat just about midnight. Close your eyes, turn off your mind. You might see some things that you could never find. There are dark forms lying all along this road. They hold secrets you may never know. Makes you wanna run, but time stands still. Time stands still beneath the midnight sun. You basking in the glow of the midnight sun.
And don't forget, go to Brian Vanyo, Vanyo.com. Brian Vanyo.com. Brian was our guest tonight, and he will come back when he has more time to spend with us, because there is oodles and oodles and oodles of information that we want to extract from that man, all about the Constitution and what our founding fathers intended for this country. Not only to start out as, but to continue to be. Brian Vanyo, Vanyo.com, and pick up a copy of his book, American Ideology. Another song by Marva. Come on, Espenlaub. Marva. This is How We Stand. And Marva will be with us Tuesday evening, live from Australia. Marva will be talking about her music, her life, her goals, her aspirations, right here on the George Espenlaub Show, Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. She will be live from Australia.
Sleepy looks never last till the sun will rise. This is how we stand, this is how we stand. When you wake up in my hands, then I'll be gone. This is how we stand, this is how we stand. When you wake up in my hands, then I'll be gone. We stand, this is how we stand. When you wake up in my hands, then I'll be gone. I'll be gone, I'll be gone. Oh.
Merva, this is How We Stand. And this young lady, I love her music. I really do. We will have Merva with us Tuesday evening, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on the George Espinlove Show live. She will be live from Australia. And I am looking forward to it. So pass the word for us. Tell your friends, your family, tell friends, Romans, and countrymen, and anyone else that'll listen. Here's another one. Merva, Bring Me Closer.
Bring me closer to you. I can see clearly now the clouds are gone. Holding your hand, I feel warm and safe now. To the world outside my leopard skin, where my lungs become the ocean, and the ocean feeds my soul. Maybe tomorrow I'll see another sun. Perhaps it's already here. No shadow leaves anything behind, but a soft breeze. Oh, we know now becomes a light tomorrow behind us all. So bring me closer, bring me closer, bring me closer, bring me closer to you. When I opened my eyes and I saw that change entering from behind, did I forget to lock the door, leaving behind all that I know? To bring you closer, bring you closer, bring you closer, bring you closer. Did I forget to shut the door, leaving behind all that I know? But there's room in my heart yet, so I walk the pavement with my head held high. To bring you closer, 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 bring you closer to me, closer to me, closer to me.
Bring Me Closer. Merva. She'll be with us Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m. right here. And she will be live from down under. Last night, our guest that was supposed to be here was a gentleman that we had before. Brett Broughton, who is a retired customs agent, Homeland Security agent, and he served the federal government, served our country for 28 or 29 years before he retired. And he has written a book, Homeland Insecurity. It's not the most popular book that Homeland Security has ever read, or any of the other agencies that's under their care. But he was courageous, and he is very honest. And he tells us just like it really is, like Brian Vanyo did tonight. Brett couldn't be with us last night, and we were concerned that something serious took place, but it was not sickness or worse. He was stranded in the Minneapolis airport due to severe weather, and he wasn't able to be with us last night. So he is going to come back and be on the show, and I want to encourage you, as soon as we confirm the date, I will announce it, and we will declare it far and wide. Brett Broughton the writer of the book Homeland Insecurity. It's another radio show that you must listen to. We feel the urgency that we must get the word out to the American people, to those that will listen to us around the world, and let them know that we want to take our country back. It's going in the wrong direction. It's been going in the wrong direction, and we need to steer the ship back on course, ladies and gentlemen. So, tonight we had Brian Vanyo, who has written the book American Ideology. It talks about what our founding fathers intended this republic to be, not only in the beginning, but what it intended it to be even today. Get the book, American Ideology, and get Brett Broughton's book, Homeland Insecurity. Wow. Join me tomorrow night. I see the tail end of the train back there a little ways. And we're going to have to jump on Charlie. Charlie and I almost missed the caboose last night. When I hollered for him to jump, we barely made it on to the caboose. We would have done face plants on the railroad track as the caboose went by. So we're gonna have to be more ready tonight, Charlie. Right? Okay. Yeah, he gave me thumbs up. Tomorrow night, join me at 6:30 p.m. as we bring you in another exciting episode of Unshackled. Unshackled is the oldest running dramatization radio program in history. It is the life story of real individuals that found themselves bound in darkness, stuck in the old miry clay, but in the end, they came out on the other side unshackled. This radio show is produced by Pacific Garden Mission out of Chicago, Illinois, and we air it Saturday evening at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time. And then we air it again Sunday morning, another episode of Unshackled at 7 a.m. Sunday morning. So tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, and Sunday morning, 7 a.m. Eastern Time, we will air Unshackled, produced by Pacific Garden Mission. It's been running since 1950. It's aired over 12,000 times a week around the world. And it is put forth by over 2,700 radio outlets. And we are glad to be one of those outlets that is sending it out on the airwaves. Unshackled. So join me tomorrow night. Another song by Merva as we move right along tonight.
I saw your face as you went past me this morning. There must be something that's holding you back. So what's the story with your life at this moment? Is there a reason you paint it all black? I'm gonna bring I smile because I know you now. Falling from time right where I belong. We are one. This time, a time to break into your mind. This time, it's my bed and I don't mind. We are one. So will you play if we forget about the Monday? I'm here to stay. No, you can run from me, honey. So keep your head above the ground. So will you stay if I can stop you from running? Your eyes can never lie. Starting from now, let me walk beside you. 'Cause we are one. So will you play if we forget about the Monday? I'm here to stay. No, you can run from me, honey. So keep your head above the ground. So will you stay if I can stop you from running? Hey now, let me comfort you. Oh baby, now hush now. I'm waiting for you. So will you play if we forget about the Monday? I'm here to stay. No, you can run from me, honey. So keep your head above the ground. So will you stay if I can stop you from running?
And that was Merva from Down Under in Australia. She'll be with us Tuesday night, 6:30 p.m., right here on Spreaker.com live. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I see the caboose coming. Charlie, on the way home, what do you say we stop and get some ice cream? Huh? Okay? All right. Wow. And, of course, we don't have far to go because, we're already on the grounds here at the Funny Farm. This is the Funny Farm Radio studio. Right down the road is the Funny Farm Airport, and we have Funny Farm Police Department, EMS, fire department. We're self-sustained here at the Funny Farm. We take care of ourselves. We have a marching band. We have a drum corps. We have a choir. We have several rock bands that plays here. Constantly. There's constant music being played here on the Funny Farm. You know, we like music. And ladies and gentlemen, before we leave, jump on the caboose and go, I want to invite you to become a full-fledged loon right here on the George Espinlove Show. This is all you have to do. Just show up. Come in and listen to the show. Let your hair down. Don't worry what people says. Don't worry what people think. Don't worry about anything. Just let your hair down. Express yourself. Turn yourself loose. And you will become a full-fledged loon. You don't have to buy anything. You don't have to sign anything. Just by you showing up tells us that you have a desire to become a full-fledged loon. So I welcome you to the family. Thank you for hanging with us tonight. This has been a different week. Every week is different. Every night is different around here. We never know what's going to develop. But I want to say thank you to Brian Vanyo one more time for being with us tonight, the author of American Ideology, What Our Forefathers Intended This Republic to Be, and what they intended it to continue to be today. BrianVanyo.com, Vanyo. Check it out. Monday night, we will have Karen Kondazian, who wrote the incredible book, A True Story, of Charlotte Charlie Parkhurst. She will be with us, Karen Kondazian, Monday night at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, live, right here on the George Espinlove Show. Tomorrow night, Unshackled, 6:30. Sunday morning, 7 a.m. So 7 days a week, we got something going on, and any time in between, you just never know what might happen. So, ladies and gentlemen, remember, write our call-in number down, 302-497-3414, 302-497-3414, and we challenge you to call us when we're on the air. We got that number purposely so that men and women, boys and girls, friends, Romans, and countrymen can call us from around the world on any phone, on any device, even from the comfort of your home. You can call that number, 302-497-3414. That is a Skype number. So whether you have Skype or whether you do not, you dial that number and it will ring us on this end. Or George.Espinlaub, Espenlaub. To all my friends everywhere, down the street, around the corner, across this great nation, and around the world, I say thank you. Thank you for tuning in tonight, and thank you if you're listening later on, because every show is archived. Download it. Listen to it. One summer all, free of charge. All right, ladies and gentlemen, wherever you're at, if it's nighttime, have a good night. Stay safe tonight. It's Friday night. And don't you dare get behind that wheel drinking. Don't you dare do that. If it's already tomorrow, have a great day. But regardless of where you are and what it is, until tomorrow night, 6:30 p.m. Eastern Time, right here on Spreaker.com, tune in for another George Espinlove show. This is me saying to you, be kind one to another, stay safe, don't take no wooden nickels, and I'll see you later. Good night, everybody. Come on, Charlie. Let's get on the caboose the right way tonight. Good night.